Let's go into the night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, we get closer to Atlanta. That, of course, coming up in about 48 hours, the finale for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And, you know, it is disappointing that in this copycat league, these coaches are not on board when it comes to the preseason with only 3 games. I mean, forever, when it was 4, and even before it was 4, it feels like there was a blueprint and you knew exactly what everyone was going to do. It has totally changed since we've gone from 17 regular season games and 3 preseason games. Case in point, coming up Friday night's a very important game for Jacksonville, in my opinion, especially with the offensive line. And we'll get to Press Taylor's comments in a little bit. I think Press made once again, a very good point today that, yeah, people are talking about the offensive line. Yeah, they're nervous about the offensive line. Well, you haven't had the 5 out there yet together, right? That's accurate. You missed Anton and Ezra in the preseason game against Kansas City. And then, of course, just the other night against Tampa, no Mitch Morse, no Cam Robinson, no Brandon Sheriff. Again, we'll play that momentarily, but we already knew that Atlanta was going to be without a bunch of starters. That includes Kirk Cousins. Now, they're going to sit down Michael Penix. I mean, Michael Penix was like the shock of the world. Why in the heck would Atlanta draft a quarterback that high when they just gave, what was it, 80, 90, 100 million? I don't even know what it was to Kirk Cousins. So they're not going to play either one of their 2 quarterbacks. And, you know, I asked Trevor Lawrence about this today. We'll play that in a little bit as well. And, you know, I figured it'd be a little bit of a canned answer, but you are in preparation. This is your last opportunity. Then Jacksonville has to wait 16 days to take on the Miami Dolphins. You'd like to get out there for a half and, you know, play some solid football. And what that does more than anything is it, you know, confidence-wise, it puts you in the right frame of mind if you do some good things offensively, defensively, etc. And I asked Trevor about that, and he's like, well, we got to prepare for whoever it is. But, I mean, seriously, what are you going to get out of this on Friday night if you're taking on a bunch of backups and you're taking on a bunch of guys that are going to get cut at 4 p.m. on Tuesday? If it's sensational, then I think many are going to be like, yeah, but you're doing it against guys that it really doesn't matter. And if it's the exact opposite, what if they can't run the ball on Friday night? They haven't been able to run the ball with ETN in their first team offensive line with the, you know, knowledge that some starters have been out. They still haven't been able to move it, right? What if all of a sudden they can't move it against backups on Friday night? So I know Doug Peterson has a plan, and you can't always be on the defensive. You can't in-game change your philosophy, your thinking, because your opponent is doing things differently. Understand what I'm trying to get at? I mean, Patrick Mahomes threw, 6 plays? I think he moved the ball 42 yards. You had the drop. Was it Hardman who had the drop? I don't remember who did. And then they forced the punt. You know, he catches that ball on 3rd down. Who knows? Kansas City could have gone the entire way for a touchdown, but that's all you got. And then you didn't get it with Baker. So, or, you know, a very limited amount when you actually take on opposing quarterbacks. And here it is once again, you're going to get a matchup against Atlanta, and, you know, you're not going to get that opportunity against either one of the 2 starting quarterbacks. So that's a little bit disappointing to me, but this is the league. And the NFL wants consistency. The NFL is always trying to make their brand better. problem is they keep making changes. Changes and changes and changes and changes. They've inflated the practice squad. They've changed the IR rules this year. They're doing it all because they want to add an 18th game. So before you know it, it'll probably be 2025 or 2026. Instead of trying to figure out how you mix and match for 3 preseason games, it's only going to be 2 preseason games. And we're going to have 18 that count. Now, every one of you listening loves that, and I love it as well. If you're giving us an extra NFL Sunday and you're giving us something where games count, I'm a fan just like you are. But I am a little bit disappointed by this because I'm really trying to hype up Friday night. I think it's important, especially for that first-team offensive line working together. And again, I think you're going to get out of there and you're going to look at one another. You're going to be like, hey, we're half pregnant. You don't know because of the lack of your opponent and who, in fact, they are playing. Anyway, today I thought it was a good one for them. You know, Christian Braswell didn't go today with the oblique. Foye still out with a hammy. So now that you understand that Atlanta's not playing starters, I've always been under the belief that they should rest certain players to begin with. Eric Armstead today, we saw him in some teamwork, which is a very good sign. I think he's a guy, as a 9-year veteran, you don't need to see him play on Friday night. You just don't. And I understand the whole conversation about being in shape and being in football shape. Okay? I'm not going to put him out there. I'm not. I'm going to get him ready for the Miami Dolphins. There's no way I'm playing Aloha if he's not 100% with that hamstring. No reason to play Christian Braswell. What a training camp for him. I was thinking about at some point, whether it be tonight or tomorrow, maybe next week, getting through camp and talking about, the best player at camp, the most disappointing player at camp. I absolutely have to do that before cut day on Tuesday. And the surprise of camp. I think and there's a long list of surprises. Because the one thing that we saw in training camp in 2024 is the growth of younger players. Players who got better, at least they look as though they have gotten better in a year. And to me, Christian Braswell would be the guy that I would pick. If you were to say who was the surprise man of camp, here's a guy who came in who I had firmly on the bubble. I think he's been the best. Ronald Darby got off to a really good start. Okay, and Tyson Campbell was nicked early. Braswell has been incredibly consistent, and I don't know if he starts at nickel, if they go to Savage, or if Savage actually goes to, safety, and Braswell takes over at nickel. Nonetheless, you can really make the case that he or Jarian Jones is your future opposite Tyson Campbell as your other cover corner. He would be the surprise player for me. And there's many more that you can mention, but he would actually be that guy. I'm not going to play him on Friday night. We already know that Christian Kirk is out with the calf, right? It's a mild calf situation. That is the quote that comes from head coach Doug Peterson. I'm not playing Travis Etienne. He was active today. It was a good practice for Etienne, both running and receiving. And I think you know what you have in him. I'd like to see Tank with the first team. So I'm going to bubble wrap Travis Etienne. I also wouldn't play Evan Ingram. I wouldn't. I just would leave them out. But I do want to see what they're able to do there with all of the talk about this offensive line. As a matter of fact, let's get to that right now. Let's get to Press Taylor today. And I'll say this about Press. His answers are very good. He talks like a head coach in waiting. I mentioned a canned answer earlier. There's so much of that in life, frankly. There's so much of that from higher ups, right? And it certainly applies in football when you talk to coaches and you talk to players. Press Taylor, every week that he does his press conference, he says something that makes you think a little bit. And with that said, let's listen to what he said earlier today as far as what he believes is progress with this offensive line.
we do feel very good about the progress we've made in both aspects, but particularly the run game, of just our targeting, our identification, of what we're trying to get accomplished, of getting essentially 11 guys on the exact same page with every single look we see. Now, in terms of moving a defender from point A to point B, that's the part that you're not 100% sure you've been able to see yet, other than when we get in these games. And we haven't played all 5 of our guys together at the same time yet, or our anticipated 5. Too many snaps at the same point yet. So that's something that we'll continue to see. Again, we have time moving into week 1 before we get ready for that, but we're confident in where we're headed with that.
See, I love his answer because, in my opinion, the offensive line and their blocking has been horrible. They've done nothing with Travis Etienne. Nothing. Okay? And then we've gone through the statistic that on the 13 carries for Tank Bigsby that have gone 65 yards, it averages 5 a carry, but 4.77 of those 5 yards have come after contact. And 62 out of his 65 yards in the preseason have come after contact. Think about that for a second. 65 yards. 62 of the 65 have come by Tank breaking a tackle or moving the line after there has been contact. I'm not dismissing what Press Taylor is saying. I'm just looking at it differently. And maybe that is the role of coordinators, especially in the preseason. It's always hype. It's always, well, it's good, 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 good. If something's not good, they're not going to tell us. And in return, we obviously share that message with you. Let's go to part 2 here. Press Taylor talking about the importance of all 5 being out there together.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing of just breaking the huddle, aligning in the huddle next to each other, breaking the huddle, communicating next to each other. And then there's still the timing of game reps, of how fast things happen. And I would still say preseason is not quite the step that regular season is going to be, but it's just one more step in the progress that we want to take to get ready for week 1.
They better learn quick because 4 of the 5 return. And last week, Doug talked about Tampa and how they hadn't seen that defense in a year. It was the same defense that Mike Caldwell ran for 2 years. So it wasn't, something that they weren't aware of before. They had seen it. They had seen it all the time, okay, when they're going up against the number 1 defense. And you saw the results there. And then, obviously, the eye test tells a different story right now when it does come to this offensive line. I do think that is a fair point. And best case scenario is that these 5 are on the same page and together as a unit, they are working much better than the parts that we have seen in the first couple of weeks. You can only hope for that. And, if you're going to buy into that, all the power to you. That for me is something that I absolutely am going to need to see. And at this particular time, yeah, I think if there's one thing to worry about with this football team, it would be that. It was a good work session today, just over an hour, okay? It was our last opportunity to get out there, which is disappointing for me. The rest of the way through now is just stretch. You can get there for 15 minutes and watch them stretch, and then, there's a couple of hours, and the locker room opens up for interviews after that. At least that's the way it was a year ago. I haven't received the schedule. Yeah, I was talking about it today, JJ. It's too bad. If this was like a normal city, you could go in, you could watch them stretch for 15 minutes, and then here's an idea. Imagine if you had like a cafe or a restaurant that like overlooked the beautiful St. John's. You could go in there, you could do your work, you could grab a bite to eat, then you could go back to the locker room. But since it's separated by 2.5 hours and instead you have a jail,
I was about to say,
taking up that.
I'm sure you could do a tour of the jail. I'm not sure how long that takes.
There's nowhere to go downtown. Where am I going to go? To Wild Bill's on Talleyrand Road? So if it was just normal, right? You could make such a great day of it. Check out the views here. I'm not talking about the St. John's River. This is just awesome. But
so they just sit in the media room for a couple hours?
Yeah, and listen, I'll take my hats off to the beat writers who do that. I'm going to pick and choose, and I'll go to the locker room to get interviews. But, it's one day it will happen. One day it will happen. One day it will be built, and future sports talk show hosts and others will be able to do exactly as I said. They'll be able to go watch them stretch, go have themselves with the upcoming generation, it's going to be what? A cup of
oh my God! They'll just inject it. You.
Yeah, I'd order a black coffee anyway, so I get laughed out of that cafe, right? They wouldn't even let me in if I ordered a black coffee. I mean, you got to have something that's
mocha frappa.
Yeah, that costs $8.
Venti.
Yep.
Yes,
but I'm
with
sad.
the new stadium, who knows?
Mm-hmm. But I am. I love camp because the rest of the way through, everything is measured with a W or an L. Nothing has been so far. Even the preseason games where you got W's, many believe it's meaningless. The rest of the way, everything is graded by whether or not you win games or lose games. And their first four are very difficult. 4 playoff teams right out of the gate early on for the 2024 Jacksonville Jaguars. Okay, when I return, I've got it right here. I have a breakdown of game number 1 in week 0. It's Florida State, Georgia Tech, and they're going to play Saturday at high noon. I have my thoughts on that game. I'm going to tell you exactly what I think will happen, but I want to preface this by saying this is one of the most difficult Florida State offenses that I've ever had to really look at and wonder what's going to happen. I mean, you could write a script for anything here. This could be the coming out party for DJU. 40 career starts. He's 30-10. This man could be legit. I was reading earlier today that, his completion percentage is 57%. That is what it was last year at Oregon State, and in 3 of his 4 years, his completion percentage was under 60%. Do you know that last year on short balls, on balls that went 10 yards or less, his completion percentage was 73.8? That falls exactly into what I have been hollering about forever. Find a way to get the ball to your playmakers, even if it's behind the line of scrimmage. These deep shots and these long routes to these redshirt fifth-year seniors isn't going to work. It's still a very difficult situation to try to break down the passing offense. I think the rushing offense is going to be very, very good. But anyway, we'll come back. We'll do that. Take a look at Georgia Tech and a fiery opponent there for the Noles coming up on Saturday. All right, opening comments brought to you by Shmunez Vision. And, I talk about it all the time, but it's true. And in life, the most expensive thing is the best, right? Not always. And it's not as though I entirely understand what goes on as far as eye care and the practice. But they bring in these new advanced machines, and they'll say, well, you need this and you need that. Almost like going to an auto mechanic, right? Oh, you got something under the hood, man, and let me tell you something. It's going to run you. Yeah, take the rest of the day off. We'll call you when we know. And they start telling you need this and this and this. Same thing can happen in the world of your eyes. The most expensive, the newest equipment for something that your eyes may not need. So be aware of that. And it's one of the reasons why I trust Shmunez Vision. Okay? The best doesn't always equal the most expensive. And certainly they have the best, all right? But it's just something that I do want to point out. Make yourself an appointment today at Shmunez Vision. You can also check them out online, on Instagram at Shmunez Vision. Whether it's Dr. Catherine Shmunez or her dad, Dr. Neil Shmunez, you're talking about more than 30 years worth of experience when it comes to laser eye surgery. Check them out today. Go to Shmunez Vision. All right, your thoughts, 641-1010. Brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures on the Jaguars. Much more. Ventrell Miller coming up. John Osher coming up. So a ton of Jaguars coming up. Well, let's take a look at Florida State and Georgia Tech. They play Saturday at noon.
We saw the games.
A tremendous return. It's first and goal, Jacksonville.
And we love to talk about it.
Really changed the course of the game.
1010XL.
Do the Garber wiggle, Garber wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle, Garber wiggle.
At Garber Auto Mall, we can wiggle it. Best price, we can wiggle it. Best trade value, we can wiggle it. Best payment, we can wiggle it. Ford, Chevy, Buick, GMC, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. With 8 American brands, we can wiggle it. Visit us in Green Cove Springs or online at GarberAutomall.com. And remember, at Garber Auto Mall, there's always a little room for wiggle.
Do the Garber wiggle, Garber wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle, Garber wiggle.
When all you have is a hammer, everything is a nail. I'm Dr. George Bari, and like me, I know you have been bombarded with PRP and stem cell treatments from companies that promise the world and charge prices to match. Or the surgeon that convinced you the only way to treat your injuries through surgery. At Bari Orthopedics, we offer the best PRP treatment on the market with prices that won't cost you an arm and a leg. We also have the expertise to treat your injury surgically if that is what it entails. We can discuss all surgical and non-surgical options with you and make sure you get the best treatment available. Come see me, Dr. George Bari at Bari Orthopedics.
Bold City AC, keeping you cool.
Feeling the heat, Jacksonville? Cool down with Bold City Heating and Air. From repairs to energy-efficient installs, we do it all. Family-owned and trusted since 2016. We offer clear pricing, NATE-certified techs, and unbeatable service. Call Bold City Heating and Air today and experience the bold difference.
Bold City AC, keeping you cool. Bold City AC.
Visit boldcityac.com.
Are you 18 years or older, just got married, just got divorced, or have children? Listen up. Have you done your last will and estate planning? You have questions? Call Matt Hinson with the Hinson Law Firm. Reach him at 527-1700. Office is Jacksonville, Florida. And don't let the state decide your fate.
Come to Monahan Jewelers store-wide 50 to 60% off sale going on now for a very limited time. Everything on display is 50 to 60% off at Monahan Jewelers. We've bought so much brand new jewelry, we need to make room for it. Diamond jewelry, engagement semi-mounts, colored gemstones, even gold chains. Right now, everything on display at Monahan Jewelers is 50 to 60% off. Jewelry's going quick, so come to Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
It's not just about relaxing. Fishing can be exciting.
That's a big fish in the box right there.
Captain Kevin and the Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show. Brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss and Veterans Wholesale Cabinets.
Thursday nights at 6
On 1010 a.m.
Mia here. Are you ready for the ultimate college football season? Using MyBookie Sportsbook and Casino platform, you can bet on every game and win anytime, anywhere, straight from your mobile device. No app needed. Just head on over to mybookie.ag, sign up, and you're ready to rock. When you bet with MyBookie, you're not just watching the games, folks. You're investing in every moment of the action. I'll say it from experience. A few bucks on the line can turn any regular game into one of the most exciting of the season. Literally, every catch, every sack, and every touchdown is another way to hit pay dirt using MyBookie. Don't forget to use promo code 1010XL when you sign up in order to claim up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere, only with MyBookie. And don't forget that promo code 1010XL.
Make the move to ABS, Advanced Business Solutions, and you won't hear your employees complain about the copier anymore. Instead, you'll hear this. Advanced Business Solutions, your local Xerox dealer.
Hello, this is Father Nicholas Lowe, and I want to talk to you about letting things roll off of your back. So often we can make big deals out of things that are not really big deals. We can allow them to steal the joy of our day. But let me remind you that don't allow anyone or anything to steal the joy of today. Go out today not letting little things steal the big things that God has in store for you.
For more inspiration, log on to stjohnthedivine.com.
Have you tried golfing at the improved Cimarron Golf Club? If you haven't, I tell you what, you're missing out on the best deal in Jacksonville. Now, many of you have received a postcard in the mail, and of course, if you bring that with you, $45 plus tax to play. That includes a cart lunch and a beer at the brand new Stone Barrel Tap House. Now, go to the website, that is CimarronGolfClub.com, and sign up for the Wild One Loyalty Program. That's the Wild One Loyalty Program, and get all of these specials emailed to you from Cimarron.
Jaguars football is officially back. Be there for the Jaguars 2024 home opener when they go head-to-head with the Cleveland Browns. Join us as we celebrate Hispanic heritage and take the field at Everbank Stadium for the first time during our 30th season. Lock in your seats now for the 1 p.m. kick by going to jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. We can't wait to see you back at the bank.
Ballou here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Quite a few people are telling me that there's a cafe inside the Maxwell House building. I'm not aware of that. I'll still tell you straight up, I don't see myself taking those 2.5 hours off hanging out there.
Just drinking your coffee.
I mean, wouldn't that be cool, though, downtown? It'd be sensational downtown. You know, just have like a spot.
Sports bar.
Heck yeah. And they'll have one. I'm down there every day. There's construction going on. I think it's the Four Seasons, right? Right now isn't that what Shad bought?
Yes.
Okay. That's underway.
That's another place we won't be hanging out at. I'm sure they'll have a cafe in there as well.
The weekly paycheck goes to...
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, we're bouncing all our checks. What's going on? Well, here's the deal. In between watching them stretch and the 2-hour period before I go to the locker room, I've been going to that new cafe.
I put it on the company credit card. I hope you don't mind.
They just came and removed my truck. You know, they just tore it right out of the dry. Yeah, but that'll be good. Yeah, they got some great steakhouses downtown. It would be. I mean, the river. The river's perfect, right? I love the Landing. I'm like the only guy that I know who still admits that I thoroughly enjoyed I love the Hooters at the Landing. I love Chicago pizza at the Landing. I remember way back when they had Frankie's when I was here the first time at the Landing. It was like George Clooney's brother in from Atlanta. And they put that up. But anyway, one of these days they'll have that. Once again. All right, let's get to Saturday. Very interesting game. Florida State, somewhere in the neighborhood of an 11.5. You can maybe get it at 10.5, depending on where you shop. Favorite in this game. Total is at 56.5. They leave tonight around 9 o'clock for Dublin. Does Florida State. And, there's really two ways to look at this. It's amazing how the entire world is changing when it comes to wagering, when it comes to betting, because forever and ever and ever, I was asked, who do you think will win the game on Saturday? Who do you think will win the game on Sunday? Now, I don't think anyone's asked me that about Florida State. Everything I get is, do you think Florida State covers the 11.5? And I've automatically taken that pressure off by saying I would not bet on this game with your money, okay? Betting is like a buffet. There's so much to choose from. Why blow it out now when you don't know? Because no one knows. No one knows about this passing offense in DJU. So all you're going with is a gut feeling. Once you get into a season, you have a better understanding, college and pro, how they are at home, how they are away, how they are during the day, how they are at night. Okay, who's injured, weather, everything else. You don't know about this. You're traveling abroad. And you lost 10 NFL players. There's 13 players who were on that team last year that right now today are on NFL rosters. You've lost a ton on offense. You've lost a ton on defense. The good news is for Florida State, for the first time in a long, long period of time, they have reloaded. I think the defensive line can be better than it was a year ago. Their offensive line is the best since 2013 when they won a national championship. They should be able to run the ball right down Georgia Tech's throat. Georgia Tech is terrible defensively. Awful. Their run defense is one of the worst in college football. And half of them left. So they've been replaced by some transfer portal guys and some younger players. We'll see. They allowed 5.8 yards a carry last year. Okay? 2.6 of that was before contact. Here we are talking about the offensive line of the Jaguars. Can you imagine blowing the defense back a couple of yards, or at least not being touched until you are plus 2.6 yards into Georgia Tech's backfield until they even touch you? And you've got power backs in Roydell Williams. You've got speed backs in Lucas and Toafili. The kid out of Orange Park, actually, he's out of Fleming, Singleton. He's a game breaker. He really is. I didn't even mention the 230-pound kid, Cam Davis, who keeps getting compared to Herschel Walker. Only played 4 games last year with the knee. Florida State should be able to run this football, take a lot of clock, and really be dominant against Georgia Tech. And that's what Georgia Tech does best. Year 3 out of Brent Key. Okay, this is a team that averaged 31 points a game last year. This is a team that averaged 425 yards a game last year. Haynes King is a dual threat. Former Jimbo prized recruit at A&M, transferred to Tech, and had a very good season. Jamal Haynes, 1,000-yard back. They returned 4 of their 5 offensive linemen. A ton of experience. They had a true freshman wide receiver last year in Eric Singleton Jr., 714 yards receiving. It feels like Tech has always had a pretty good wide receiver, right? They can do it all on offense. Run is their bread and butter, including with their quarterback, Haynes King. But they can also throw the football. I think Florida State should be able to make adjustments in game and do a solid job against the run. What you hope happens is that Florida State gets up and that Florida State, by the scoreboard, has the ability to take away the Yellow Jackets' rushing offense and make them one-dimensional, force them to pass. But if it doesn't work out that way, then it can be scary because Georgia Tech is a very smart football team. And forever they got Florida State by doing what? Misdirection, counters, reverses, over-aggressive defensive players who were over-pursuing the ball carrier. They weren't reading their keys. They weren't staying at home. It's trying to be aggressive, sir. Right? I mean, no. You got to be smart. You've got to stay true to your defensive responsibility. This is an NFL defense. That NFL defensive line is absolutely spectacular, and there's depth. I think the rotation is really going to help out. I'm a little apprehensive about their linebackers. I'm not going to disguise that one for you. They missed Deloach and they missed Bethune. Those guys were underrated. Florida State doesn't win that Clemson game without Deloach. They made big-time plays as linebackers. It's amazing. He was a late-round pick, and Bethune wasn't. Actually, Deloach was undrafted, and Bethune was a late-round pick. It's amazing to me. To me, they're kind of like Ventrell Miller. They just made plays. They're football players. But, today it's science. It's all measurements and whatever. Deloach, by the way, running with the second team in practice when they were here last week with Tampa Bay. You have an NFL secondary. These guys are going to the NFL. But what gets you is early season jitters, mistakes, penalties. And if you start pressing, and if you don't hold on to what you're supposed to do defensively, I think Georgia Tech is ripe for a huge play. Understand what I'm saying? I don't think we're going to see Georgia Tech put together a lot of double-digit drives that go 75 yards and take half the quarter off the clock. I think there's a chance here on an offensive mistake, a turnover, where all of a sudden Georgia Tech starts out 1st and 10 from Florida State's 25 or 30. They shorten the field because of a mistake, and they hit pay dirt. I also think, because history has said this against Georgia Tech, that if you do mentally break down, it can really open things up for a huge play, even a trick play. They've had all offseason to work on this. But if you're just matching up man on man, Florida State should be able to take care of Georgia Tech. Now, I've said this a few times, and this is my final thought on it. But it's worth mentioning again until we see a game. What you do not want for Florida State is for them to have to play catch-up football. And the only way that happens is by what I just described. Mistakes, turnovers, and mental breakdowns. Okay? I'm not convinced that if they're down by a couple of possessions and they begin to feel the pressure, that they are able to come from behind by passing the football with DJU. That's fair. If you see that out there as a Knoll, send me some of that. Okay? Send me a little taste of that at 641-1010 on the text line, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. I'm not saying it won't happen. I'm not saying it can't happen. What I'm saying, I need to see it. I do. Georgia Tech, 7-2 against the spread last year. 6-2 against the spread last year in the ACC. The last, and this is, as an underdog, okay? Let me point that out. At 13 covers as an underdog in the last 2 years are the Yellow Jackets. It's the most in college football. They are used to being underdogs. If you're gambling on this game, I'm not talking about winning them outright. I'm talking about covering the number, which is somewhere between 10.5 and 11.5 with Georgia Tech. So that is what I hope we see. I mean, all this Malik Benson talk, he's a senior. He had 13 receptions last year. He has 13 receptions in his college football career, not including junior college stuff. Jaylen Brown is their number 2 wide receiver. Redshirt freshman from LSU. Zip. 0. Zilch. Nada. When he catches a ball on Saturday, it'll be the first ball he's ever caught in college football. They're banking on these two to be the difference makers with Ja'Kai Douglas in the slot. Okay? Those fifth-year seniors that come in after him, I have no confidence in them. I hope they make me eat my work. They have no confidence. Williamson and Portia, they just put the ball in the ground. Yeah, I'm hoping that Hakeem Williams can get healthy. He's got a hamstring. I don't know if he's going to play. That Elijah Moore kid gets all this hype. I enjoyed watching him practice out here for 2 days. He dropped 5 balls in 2 days. And Ron Dugans came on, the wide receiver coach, after and said he gets down on himself. He's an 18-year-old. You can't expect him to step right up as a freshman. And again, I think you play the way that you practice. He dropped that Florida State offense. We watched it. 13 consecutive plays. Quarterbacks to wide receivers in one-on-one. 13 straight incompletions. Think about that for a second. 13. And it's an NFL backfield, okay? It's an NFL secondary. But 13 in a row. And they've been bragging about the wide receivers. Apparently the lights come on in the last week. It just happened. It like, bzzz, and the light went on. And DJU had the best practice of his career in Tallahassee Monday. So everything is being said in a very positive way. We'll see if that transpires. I think Florida State wins. I think if I had to bet, I would take Tech. I would take Tech in the 11.5. How about you?
I would take Florida State. I think they'll probably win by 14, 17, something like that. I think it'll be close most of the game, but towards the end, I think they'll just be bigger, faster, stronger, run the ball, DJU running. I think DJU is going to run like crazy this season.
Yeah.
And I think your offense is going to be like slow it down and just wear them down. And I think eventually in the fourth quarter, they'll make it a 17-point game, Florida State.
I'd love that. That offensive line is the best I've seen. And that is legit. And they're going to rotate 8 guys, which is amazing. You don't hear about that a lot. Florida State's done it in recent years, but they've done it because guys have been struggling. They're confident in an 8-man rotation on that offensive line. And they got 5 backs. Yeah, they can run. I hope that that's what they're able to do. Because when you run, you win games. That's how you win games. You run. The clock moves. Comments brought to you by Thermal Engineers. They are right here in Jacksonville, a commercial HVAC contractor. They've been serving North Florida for over 20 years, and get this, they're hiring. How does top pay sound? How about 401k, full benefits, and a signing bonus? For qualified technicians and installers, go to Thermal Engineers, Inc., or give them a call at 230-1172. They're an equal opportunity employer. Thermal Engineers, Inc. Let me repeat myself. Top pay, 401k, full benefits, and a signing bonus. Qualified technicians and installers in the world of HVAC. Take advantage of this incredible opportunity. Go to Thermal Engineers, Inc. When we come back, we got much more to do. John Osher is 15 minutes away. Senior writer, Jaguars.com. Caught up with Ventrell Miller a little bit earlier today. Hey, something on AFC quarterbacks. Legends spoke. And when legends speak, we listen. Details on the other side.
At Honda, we appreciate all the comparisons to other vehicles. And no matter how many times they compare their vehicles to a Honda, only a Honda is a Honda. Remember, value, quality, safety, there is no substitute. Visit your local Honda dealer now and experience the difference.
The experts at AMCO have been fixing cars for almost 60 years. Over that time, they've gotten more complex than ever. That's why our techs undergo rigorous training and certifications, so they can fix anything, including the most complicated repairs that come with some of the latest technologies. After 60 years, there's nothing we haven't seen or fixed. It's how we know cars inside and out.
Money tight? We can finance almost anybody. Find the AMCO transmissions nearest you at AMCOJacksonville.com.
What defines a hero? Dedication, loyalty, courage. Every day at AMCO, we serve heroes. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles, from complex transmissions to simple brake jobs with flexible financing and the extra safety precautions we need. The heroes we serve don't all wear uniforms. They're people like you. At AMCO, we're proud to serve all of you. AA MCO.
Family owned and operated in Jacksonville, Orange Park, St. Augustine, and St. Mary's, Georgia.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for Instant Keys locksmith service.
Have you or someone you care about been arrested or had their driver's license taken away? I'm Susan Cohen, and I work with David Robbins at the law firm of Epstein & Robbins. We are experienced fighters for those charged with DUI and all criminal offenses. I've been named the best DUI attorney in the state, and David has been named the best criminal defense lawyer in Jacksonville. In your battle with the justice system, there is only one thing you need to know. Dial David 24/7 at Epstein & Robbins, 354-5645.
This Day in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On August 21st, 1931, Yankee slugger Babe Ruth becomes the first MLB player to hit 600 career home runs.
Right now, they're on their way to ruin your day. Don't bother calling the police. They can't help. And if you're not prepared, you will suffer. Yes, it's that time of the year. Heat and humidity are attacking North Florida. But help is at hand. Call Mike Merritt's Heating and Air Conditioning. Mike Merritt has a license to chill and lets you maintain your comfort zone at a bargain price. How? Mike Merritt stands ready to help, routine or emergencies. And Mike Merritt knows emergencies can happen at any time. So with Mike, there's never any overtime charges. And Mike's team works without commissions. Merritt will never try to sell you parts you don't need. You can't trust just anyone with a truck. Call Mike Merritt, the company North Florida has trusted for 35 years. Call today. License number CAC 050384.
Certainly facing challenging economic times. I can't speak for all of us, but for me, comforting to know my money is in good hands with ITP Partners. Ticket here for ITP Partners. Jacksonville guys taking care of my Jacksonville money. I'll admit it, I don't understand a ton about the economy. Higher interest rates, 401ks, but I do know as I move closer to retirement, I continue to watch my money grow. Thanks to Chris Bryan, Jeff Hartman, Reagan Wright, Dan Abel, and Reed Wingate. Get in the game, guys. ITP Partners, always there to help. For more info, Chris at ITPPartners.com or call 904-312-9751.
Calling all fans of Duval to downtown Las Vegas during the game against the Silver and Black. This is Lauren Brooks from Helmets and Heels. Join us at Circa Resort and Casino this December for the Jacksonville Game Day Getaway featuring an incredible all-in package. Get a 3-night stay at Circa, $200 food and beverage credit, plus a day bed at Stadium Swim. With 6 temperature-controlled pools and a massive screen, it's the world's largest hot tub party. The all-in package is only available until August 30th, so act now. To book and to join the Heels in Vegas, visit circalasvegas.com today.
When the sun goes down, you might think a golf course shuts down, but not at the Golf Club of Southampton. Join the gang every Thursday night for trivia with Brooke and Jason, and everybody's favorite night, Friday night on the patio, featuring local musicians, food, and drink. It's all at the Golf Club of Southampton. Great golf. You've come to expect that. But don't forget, when night falls, the fun doesn't stop. Trivia every Thursday night and Southampton's live music patio session Fridays. Call 287-PLAY to make a tee time and the good time.
Mike Dempsey here for the 20-pound summer slim down with Awaken 180 weight loss. Drop 20 pounds before summer ends and cruise into fall with a new routine of better health. Do what I did and find your results with the solution for weight loss at awaken180weightloss.com.
The coolers are full at your local Gate gas station, making it easy for you to cruise in and cruise out with little downtime. Ice cold Coronas, Natty Light, Stella Artois, and Michelob Ultra. Don't forget the king of beers, Cold Buds. Gate's got them in the cooler, waiting for you.
This is Dr. Steve Crenshaw, Assistant Team Physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jaguars brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
Safety Darnell Savage explained the importance of the connection the secondary and pass rushers have in order to execute on defense. If the coverage unit and guys up front are not on the same page, that opens up the field for the quarterback, allowing the offense to move the ball down the field, on the ground, or in the air.
Yeah, I mean, we work with each other. Kind of goes hand in hand, you know. If we're not covering back there in the back end, quarterback's getting the ball out quick, and they not necessarily getting home, and we covering all day, then we back there fighting for our lives. So it goes hand in hand. So we just, you know, just holding each other to a high standard on both sides and just trying to keep that same pace and that same intensity every single day.
Savage will make his first appearance of the preseason this Friday night against Atlanta after losing the red non-contact jersey at practice this week. I'm Max Fink here with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
9478 says, Ballou, I'm coming to Jacksonville on Friday. What's the best steakhouse in town? Is that Steak and Shake still open on Phillips?
It is, and it's the worst, actually. They you have to order with through a kiosk, and then your order just shows up at the counter, and you have to go get it yourself. It's the worst dining experience, actually. It's so funny that you said that.
Let me make a recommendation for you. It's called the Blue Crab House. Outstanding. I'll be there tomorrow night because we're on 2 to 4.
Yeah.
JJ, myself, and Hayes Carline will be on 2 to 4 tomorrow. And we're off Friday because of the Jaguars football game. Just kidding. There's some really good steakhouses in town. They just don't spend any money on a radio station. I'm not going to give you a free plug.
Screw 'em.
No, that's not the way I work. And forever I've promoted one restaurant, and it's my favorite restaurant. I'll be there tomorrow night. Okay, tonight, $1 oysters at the Blue Crab House. Tomorrow night, $3 drafts. You know, you've known this for a while, JJ. I'm a trophy boyfriend. But
that's obvious.
Yes, but when I recruited my GF 15 years ago, one of the keys was she doesn't drink.
Oh, so she even back then?
Very rarely,
Okay.
just because maybe here and there, but maybe one. But
always fine to drive.
Right, she does drive. So those $3 drafts, no lights, woo! At the Blue Crab.
About
House.
12 of those.
All right, I lied about the quarterback stuff. I'll get to that next hour. I'm going to have to keep you here because this is more important. This just came in moments ago from sportsbetting.ag. We have a new leader in the clubhouse as far as the Heisman Trophy. Any guesses? A new one.
So it's obviously not a quarterback from Georgia, or was he not the favorite?
I think Carson Beck was the favorite.
Okay, so he's been replaced. I'm going to say, and I'm not going to say Ewers, maybe Jalen Milroe.
Jalen Milroe is tied for third with Carson Beck, 9-1 odds right now, presently.
So they're tied for second. Okay.
No, tied for third.
Oh, so there's two people in front of them.
Yes.
Wow. So is Quinn Ewers one of them?
No. Quinn Ewers is tied with Jackson Dart, 12-1.
Wow, I'm missing some big ones. I give up.
2 transfers.
Dylan Gabriel.
Wow. Back for his 12th year of college football.
And then the kid from Kansas State?
Can we check on Dylan Gabriel?
Yes.
He's as old as Chris Wenke was when after Chris Wenke spent 7 years playing minor league baseball. Dylan Gabriel at Oregon is a 6-1 favorite. Cam Ward.
Oh, my. That's
at
insane.
Miami is a 7-1 favorite. The biggest risers. Gabriel went from 9-1 to 6-1. Dart went from 18-1 to 12-1. All right. I tell you another massive riser is Cam Rising has gone from 75-1 to 33-1. So there you go. Rounding out the top 10, Will Howard announces the starting quarterback at Ohio State, and then Avery Johnson at Kansas State. So there you go.
What about the USC kid who was just named starter? Did he make the list? Just any Lincoln Riley quarterback's worth throwing $10 on.
Mm-hmm. Fair point.
Moss, is it? Is it Moss?
The kid, I tell you, was going to get some recognition is the KJ Jefferson kid out of UCF. I saw Bianchi heads up. Mike Bianchi heads up our Heisman. He's like the go-to who coordinates it all. I've been a long-time Heisman voter. And he had a column that came out today. He said he thought the Jags win the Super Bowl. He thinks Miami wins the ACC and that KJ Jefferson becomes a Heisman Trophy candidate
at UCF. Okay, so Miller Moss is 40-1. I'm looking at right now.
All right. Yep.
Yeah, that's worth $10.
Any other notables around here? Let's see. DJ Uiagalelei is 40-1. Trevor Etienne is 100-1. Graham Mertz 150-1. And that is about it. All right, John Osher is 5 minutes away. SeniorRiderJaguars.com. Next hour, I got something on quarterbacks. You'll also hear from Jaguars linebacker in his second year, Ventrell Miller.
Get your engine tuned up for Saturday night at Daytona.
Hey, boys, watch this.
NASCAR Coke Zero 400 at Daytona. Brought to you by the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local Union 234. From Jacksonville's NASCAR station, 1010XL. Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Hey, school's in session, and here's today's lesson. We have hundreds of new vehicles. Trax starting at $299 a month. Traverse for $399 a month. Silverados as low as $499 a month. And they all come with a 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. That means you and your soon-to-be drivers will be protected for the next 20 years. Plus, every purchase will help fund a teacher's project in our schools. Your next assignment, get to Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville. Deadline August 31st. We're here to wow you and our teachers.
Yo, if you've been following me on MyBookie, you will know that I'm hitting for straight cash, homie. It's your boy E.T. And are you ready for the ultimate college football season? Using MyBookie's sportsbook and casino platform, you can bet on every game and win anytime, anywhere, straight from your mobile device. No app necessary. Just click on the link, sign up, and you're ready to rock. Did you know that the average college football game runs about 180 plays? Every catch, sack, and touchdown is another way to hit that straight cash, homie, using MyBookie. And when you bet with MyBookie, you're not just watching the games, you're investing in every moment of the action. And I'm speaking from experience. A few bucks on the line can turn any regular game into one of the most exciting games of the season. So make sure you head over to MyBookie. And don't forget to use promo code 1010XL when signing up to claim that $1,000 bonus on the first deposit. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. Come on, somebody.
Daytona always brings the drama.
Everything's on the line. The risk will be higher.
3 wide.
Look how insane this is.
Gunning to keep playoff hopes alive. It's now or never.
It's the most stressful night of racing that you'll ever go through.
For an unforgettable weekend of family fun, high wattage star power, and a front row seat full of fireworks. NASCAR weekend at Daytona International Speedway, August 23rd and 24th. Get your tickets now at DaytonaInternationalSpeedway.com.
The flagship station of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Have a group trip or company function soon? Mark Watson here with Hardball Creative. Get busy ordering the t-shirts and other swag you'll need. It's easy with Hardball.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
AC replacement? If your AC unit is ready to go kaput, then it's time to call Florida Home AC. With over $3,000 in tax credits waiting for you on select systems, take advantage of it. Call 777-4300. Get Florida Home AC to cool you off.
Looking for a new or used firearm? Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach will get you locked and loaded. New firearms coming in weekly and always looking for used guns. No lines and no waiting. Online at beachesjewelryandpawn.com.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialist is now offering ortho walk-in appointments. If you have an immediate need for orthopedic care, contact Southeast Orthopedic Specialist immediately. Avoid ERs and urgent care waiting rooms. For more information, go to se-ortho.com.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Homeowners, good news for you. Accent on 4. Listen up. Loan Pronto now has mortgage rates that start with a 4. Prosser here. It's true. Mortgage rates have plummeted. So low, we haven't seen them in a long time. If your current rate is over 6%, you can dump it and lower your house payment big time. Loan Pronto just locked in a homeowner at 4.99% APR. So whether you got your loan last week, last month, or last year, it's time to call Loan Pronto. Even if you're in process with another lender. stop now. Call Loan Pronto. Ask about their zero-cost rate reduction home loan. You can lock in a lower rate with no closing costs in a matter of days, with almost no paperwork and usually no appraisal. And if you act now, you can even skip your next 2 house payments. Call now. Loan Pronto can give you a rate quote in minutes with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. Call 904-999-1508 or loanpronto.com. Call 904-999-1508. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. Owner approved credit, NMLS consumeraccess.org.
Hey, it's Mike Dempsey, and you know how I feel about Pella Windows and Doors. Great design, strongest warranties, and the highest quality products. I even chose Pella Windows for my own home. And whether you're a homeowner replacing windows or building a new home or a trade professional working with clients, I know the design experts at Pella will help your project run smoothly and look great. Visit PellaJacks.com or the Pella showroom on Phillips Highway. That's Pella Windows and Doors.
Looking to elevate your game night experience? Look no further than Best Bet. We're not just a card room, we're your destination for excitement, fun, and big wins. Whether you're a seasoned player or new to the game, we have something for everyone. Join us at Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, or St. Augustine for thrilling tournaments, exciting promotions, and a vibrant atmosphere that will take your game night to the next level. Elevate your game night at Best Bet. Visit bestbetjacks.com to learn more. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Hey, it's Tony from Tony D's Pizza. If you love our pizza and pasta dishes, let us cater an event for you. Family function or office parties, we can deliver you an amazing Italian meal. Remember, it's not just pizza at Tony D's. Bay Meadows and $2.95.
This is Hayes Carline for SkyLife Elite. Are you tired of canceled flights, unruly passengers, and layovers? Call my friends at SkyLife Elite. Consider using private charter flights for your next adventure. Yes, you can afford it. Make your own schedule. Fly direct. Drive your car to Craig Airport and get directly on the plane. SkyLife Elite can make that happen. Call 490-9332. Go to flyskylife.com and find them on social media. Fly SkyLife Elite, North Florida's premier private air charter.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555, Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
John Osher is our guest every Wednesday night. He joins us, senior writer at Jaguars.com, and he goes into the night with Rick Ballou. John, always a pleasure, sir.
The end is near, Rick. The end is near. The end of camp is near.
It is today.
Yeah.
And it was a shorter practice, but I thought they got quite a bit of work in as far as team activity late. Hey, for starters, Atlanta's not going to play any. At least that's the word. How does that change anything as far, maybe they were all expected to go a half. Do you take them out a little bit sooner now that they're going up against backups?
Yeah, maybe if you feel like it's getting weird, meaning if you feel like there's a possibility of young Atlanta players trying to make a name for themselves on Trevor Lawrence, something like that, I generally don't believe that that's a big thing. But I think Doug, when he was talking about this earlier, probably said it the way they'll do it. You play them a couple of series. I don't think they played until halftime in week 3 last year. I don't think the starters got to the end. I would anticipate a couple of series. If Doug feels like they need one more series, then I think he'll play them again. But you kind of go with your gut. What I do think they could do in theory is, and somebody asked me this earlier in the week, and I sort of poo-pooed it, but maybe get Mac Jones a series with the starting line, just because it'll probably be the last chance he has to work with the starters. So could you see, because he's played so well and you want to have that rep, maybe something like that. But I'd be a little surprised if they play through the half. But I think, Rick, more and more as you go forward with this, with a 3 preseason game thing, I think you're going to see coaches not care as much about getting their guys to halftime of this game as much as using the week and then getting a feel for prep and then getting them out of there. So I could see 2 series and out.
There's no doubt about it. You have Mike, myself, you've been covering this league forever, and it's a copycat league, and coaches tend to work in unison. But, boy, since they've gone to 17-3, there isn't that automatic that this is the way it's going to work. Every team has handled this differently about when to play their starters and not when to play their starters.
Yeah, it's funny. You kept thinking, this is what, the fourth year they've done it, if memory serves? Fourth year of
I believe.
Of the game. And you keep sort of waiting for best practices to come in and say, okay, well, this is what we're going to do. Everybody's going with their starters in week 3. And it is kind of interesting because usually you don't see this much diversity on a topic in terms of how they approach it. Probably, my guess is we won't get a chance to find out what the norm will be because it feels like 18 games is coming sooner rather than later.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think you'll probably see one preseason game where they play a lot and then get them out. My guess is coaches will probably lean toward heavy preseason starters one week and then all evaluation the next week. But you're right. I thought by now we'd have a formula, and you don't know. And it's kind of interesting in what, again, is usually a pretty similar league in the way teams approach things.
John Osher, our guest, senior writer, Jaguars.com, joining Rick Ballou. Press Taylor today, I thought, made some really good points when talking about the offensive line. They've been criticized, yet 2 played in the they were down a couple in game 1, and they were down, 3 in game 2. So having the starting 5 out there against someone else, they haven't shown that yet, and apparently that is what they're going to do coming up on Friday night.
Yeah, it feels like you're going to see all 5, which, again, maybe that influences Doug a little bit to say, you know what, I want to see this group together. Maybe I wouldn't mind seeing this offensive line group for 4 series to a half. If he does that, I could easily see him saying, okay, I've seen the offensive line. I've seen enough of Trev. Let's get Trevor out of the first quarter. Let Mac go 2 series in the second. And then a steady dose of your boy, Rick, E.J. Perry.
Yes.
I could see that formula, and I could see because this is a new group and hasn't played together before, I could see him going an extra series or 2 with the offensive line.
Some guys won't go. I mean, Kirk won't go. I'd be surprised if Foye or Armstead or Braswell, if they in fact play. But I tell you what I would do, John. I want your feeling on it. I've seen enough out of ETN. I know what he can do. I'd bubble wrap him. Yeah. I want to see Tank run with this first-team offense.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, again, the more you talk about it, the more we kind of decipher it. I could easily see Doug saying, hey, I want Travis to get 1 series behind this line.
Mm-hmm.
But the other thing with that, Rick, is from listening to Doug throughout the offseason and even into last offseason, he believes a lot more than maybe observers think in the importance of a running back feeling the offensive line and knowing what cuts to make. That was a deal where he really thought that Travis going into 23 needed to improve. Big emphasis on, just where you're finding cuts, where you're finding holes. So just as it's important for Trevor to be behind the offensive line, Doug may think, you know what, I need Travis to run behind these guys in a live game too. So I like your approach of bubble wrapping. That may be what causes Doug not to do that.
Yeah, you don't know. We'll see. Hey, let's wrap with your we know how you feel about rookies and that, you just, for the most part, you really can't count on them in year 1. Trent Baalke, I thought he made some interesting comments during the Jaguars television broadcast on Saturday night where he said, and I quote, "We've structured it in such a way that we're giving them more reps than we've ever given the rookie class for a reason." Your thoughts on that?
Well, because clearly, remember back in January, February when Trent talked and everybody hammered him for talking about onboarding, that they thought he was throwing Doug under the bus and all that. I never got that impression. When Trent said that day, my impression was that was something that he and Doug had talked about at the end of the regular season, and both decided, hey, we didn't get enough out of Tank. We didn't get enough out of Brent Strange. And they both have talked about it. I'm not going to say in every availability, but they've talked about it a lot. And Doug has talked about it a lot during camp. I think they wanted to figure out a way to get these guys going quicker. You drafted a Mason Smith who physically looks like he can do it immediately. So in answer to your question, no question during camp has that been a thing where you have seen young players in with veterans more than ever.
Yeah.
And Rick, just from watching Mason Smith and Brian Thomas Jr., maybe Jarian Jones, I think you're going to see contributing out of that this year. Brian's much more advanced than I expected him to be. Mason Smith, I still hold my breath a little bit on because that's such a position where you have to know leverage and you have to know how to use your hands. It can be really hard for immediate impact on the defensive line because of that.
Yeah.
But I think they're going to get their chance, and I'd be surprised if we're not talking about all three by November as being part of rotation, I think all three are really going to matter.
Yeah.
I really do.
I'd agree with that, and add Cam Little to the mix. There's no doubt.
Sure. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, hopefully, Rick, size and strength isn't a factor for Cam.
Yeah, man. He just turned
But what a
21 over
leg,
the weekend.
though, right?
He's fun to watch. I mean, he had a 63-yarder yesterday inside the Miller Electric Center that, in my opinion, could have gone another 7 to 10 yards.
And I've been talking about it all camp. Physically, it just doesn't make sense. I mean, this kid, when I covered the Colts, Vinatieri had big butt and big thighs, and you knew where the power came from, right? This was strength. Cam Little looks like me, and he kicks it 80 yards. It's fun to watch. You're exactly right.
You know what Cam Little is? He's like these 5'10", 135-pound golfers who pound it 300-plus off the tee.
Yeah. Well, I've had kickers over the years always tell me, just like golf, it's not how hard you're swinging. It's the flexibility. It's the form. It's the technique. Obviously, you have to have some leg strength. I'm not going to exaggerate it. But, yeah, and Cam Little proves that because that thing pops off his foot. It's amazing to watch. It really is.
No doubt. John, always a lot of fun. Thank you. Catch up with you
Rick,
soon.
Thanks, buddy.
There he goes. John Osher. Read all from John. John Osher at Jaguars.com. He is the senior writer, and they do a great job daily covering the Jags. Love their special teams. Cam Little, Logan Cook. I mean, I don't know if is Logan Cook made a Pro Bowl yet? He should. Cam Little has never played a game yet. Let's not put the cart in front of the horse. Ross is a very good deep snapper, long snapper. And I think the return game is going to be pretty special with Devin Duvernay and Parker Washington. I do expect them to take Keelan Robinson, their 5th-round pick, and I think they will IR him on Tuesday with the possibility of bringing him back. You can do that with a couple of transactions. I have to believe that that's going to happen with Andrew Wingard. You just hope that no one gets injured on Friday, where you have to use one of those spots if there's a significant injury. But, yeah, all these rule changes, again, they are coming into fruition to prepare for an 18th game. And someone earlier sent me that the collective bargaining agreement goes through, I believe it's 2032. Money will move the needle. If you go to the CBA and you say you're going to get paid more, you get paid per week. You get paid based on 18 weeks, 17 games. If you add a second bye and a 18th game, then they're going to have to make changes within the CBA. You're going to get paid whether it's 18 weeks for 18 games or it's 20 weeks, the 2 byes in the 18 games. Either way, they're going to have to inflate the money, okay? And it's going to raise considerably the salary cap. The owners can't ask. I mean, no one's stupid. You can't ask these guys. You can't compare playing in a preseason game to a regular season game. Here we are talking about Atlanta. They're not even going to play starters on Friday night. I mean, it's awful. The season ticket holders and whatever have to pay premium price for preseason games. It's gone this way forever in the NFL, and it's not going to change. You put regular season games in, though, the owners are going to make that much more money. You have to pay the players. They're going to get theirs. But that's coming, folks. I'll be shocked if this lasts to 2032. Matter of fact, how's this one sound, JJ? I think the NFL goes to 18 games sooner than Florida State, Clemson, and Miami leave the Atlantic Coast Conference.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. I would probably think that's coming around like 27-ish at the earliest. So, yeah, I think this year and maybe next year after that at the most, we'll still have this schedule. So I'm with you on that. And just how easily the NFL Players Association pretty much folds on anything that the owners want to do.
Right.
So it probably won't put up much of a fight.
As long as you pay them money.
Right.
And, it's not the fact that Joe Burrow said what he said, I have to believe, just really ruffled some feathers inside the Players Union to, have a guy of his stature make those comments. But, yeah, I do want to believe the grant of rights in the ACC goes through 2036, and obviously the CBA in the NFL through 2032.
That would be a hell of a bet.
Yeah.
We need to get Raphael to give us odds for that one.
But contracts are broken all the time. And
especially in sports.
Right. All you have to do is get both parties to agree, and you can shred that contract. So, all right, let's come back. I'm going to give you this quarterback nugget as promised. That's coming up here on the other side. Also, Ventrell Miller, Jaguars linebacker, as we go into the night.
Want more Jags? Subscribe to the 1010XL Jaguars YouTube channel. Looking for more in-depth coverage of the Gators? Subscribe to the 1010XL Gators YouTube channel. Need your FSU fix? Well, subscribe to the 1010XL Seminoles YouTube channel. Your favorite team, one specific location.
Ballou here for Smunez Vision. Why Smunez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smunez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smunez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smunez is fellowship trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmunezVision.com today. Here you can see.
Of course, Roland Reich Plumbing has awards from Folio Weekly and the Bold City's Best. Now, Roland Reich is also confirmed as the Google Guaranteed Plumbing Service. Because when you do plumbing right, the word gets around. That's Roland Reich Plumbing.
Staying active no matter what your age is key to living life at its fullest. And Rebound Rehabilitation wants you to know they can get you back up to speed and back in the game pain-free. Rebound Rehabilitation with 8 locations across the First Coast, top-of-the-line therapists ready to assist you. From neck and back pain, knee or foot pain, they can help. Excellent patient care combined with the highest quality in rehabilitation services. Look for a Rebound Rehab location near you and get back in the game. Log on, reboundrehab.com.
You know, car accidents are scary. That split second before impact when you try to drive your way out of it, but you just can't. And suddenly your life changes forever. Your long-term medical outlook doesn't resemble the healthy future you had just seconds earlier. You can't swerve to miss the pain either. If a car accident has left you hurt and afraid, call 396-5555 now. It's time to turn your fear into fight. Farah and Farah, Jacksonville.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On August 21st, 1931, Yankee slugger Babe Ruth becomes the first MLB player to hit 600 career home runs.
It's the best time of the year again. It's football season, and with football season here, fantasy football has arrived. And forget the season-long leagues. Underdog Fantasy and the Underdog Fantasy app is the way to go. I've been playing it now for almost a year, and it is just suits me to a T. First of all, it's simple, right? Just choose higher or lower on statistical projections or compete against others in player v player fantasy games. Either way, there are so many options. There's research there on the site. It's easy to use, and right now, you can get a little bit extra. That's right. Go to the mobile app or underdogfantasy.com. Sign up with the promo code PROSSER. They're going to give you a special to use on your first contest and a deposit offer. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code PROSSER, and claim your new customer offer. Do it right now, plus a first-time deposit offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Got to be 18 or over, got to be present in the state where it's played, and call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org if you have a problem.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwoods. Underwood has completed 75 years in business, and now you are starting your next 75 years. If you were going to simplify things, what is the single most important thing in Underwood's history, and what will be the most important thing in your future?
Frank, that's simple. Our honesty and integrity. You know, our founder, H.F. Underwood's favorite saying was, know the truth and tell the truth. That's why we're the longest-standing member of the American Gem Society in Florida. Because we know you have to have the knowledge about gemstones before you can tell the truth about them. That's why we continue to educate our staff through the Gemological Institute of America and the American Gem Society. In fact, today, Underwoods has the largest American Gem Society credentialed staff of professionals east of the Mississippi River. So come by and see why we're looking forward to the next 75 years and let one of our experts assist you.
That's at Underwoods, serving excellence since 1928. In San Marco, Avondale, the shops of Ponte Vedra, Underwood Jewelers.
The new Boost Mobile network is offering unlimited talk, text, and data for just $25 a month for life.
That sounds like a threat.
Then how do you think we should say it?
Unlimited talk, text, and data for just $25 a month for the rest of your life?
I don't know.
Until your ultimate demise.
What if we just say forever?
Okay.
$25 a month forever.
Get unlimited talk, text, and data for just $25 a month with Boost Mobile forever.
After 30 gigabytes, customers may experience slower speeds. Customers will pay $25 a month as long as they remain active on the Boost Unlimited plan.
Thermal Engineers is hiring. Thermal Engineers is a commercial HVAC contractor serving North Florida for over 20 years. Qualified technicians and installers, how does top pay, 401k, and full benefits sound, and a signing bonus? Is it time for a positive change in your career? Join the family-oriented commercial HVAC contractor at Thermal Engineers. Call 230-1172 or go to Thermal Engineers, Inc., an equal opportunity employer.
Guys, feeling deflated in the bedroom? ED, low T, no energy? If your stuff is broken, call 904-STROKEN or 904stroken.com. No shots in the first treatment, now free. Fix your ED at 904stroken.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Let's go into the night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Florida State leaves at 9 o'clock tonight for Dublin City, Ireland. Seminoles and Yellow Jackets. Saturday at high noon, Florida State, somewhere in the neighborhood of an 11.5-point favorite. Total 56.5. Week 0 upon us in college football. To the NFL, the Manning cast continues. Tom Brady will also become the #1 color analyst on Fox. They were both asked about top quarterbacks. For some reason, Brady was asked about the top 4. Manning was asked about the top 5. This is very interesting to me. Brady goes Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, Burrow. Manning, again, listed 5. He goes Mahomes, Burrow, Herbert, Lamar, and Allen. So when you go with 4, they both have them. Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, and Burrow. The 5th added to
Well, Peyton
Manning.
has Allen as his 5th, so he doesn't have him in the top 4.
Okay, yeah, but both have the same 4, and there's a 5th
Yes.
guy here with Herbert, even though he's ranked at 3. But you know what they all have in common here? They're all AFC quarterbacks. And, you know, this is where we are. This is where this franchise is. The ultimate prize is to win a Super Bowl. And, you know, it feels like Russell Wilson. Those days are beginning to fade just a little bit. Matthew Stafford still doing his thing, even though he was injured to go, a year ago in L.A. And then, you have, for instance, look at the 5 different quarterbacks here. You only have one with a ring, and that's Mahomes. He's got 3 of them. So, and am I missing anyone else who's got a ring right now as far as a starting quarterback? I don't think there's anyone else. Please correct me.
Besides Stafford?
Stafford, Wilson, and Mahomes.
Yeah, Flacco's not a starter.
Nope.
Foles, I don't even know if he's in the league.
No, he didn't. He announced his retirement last week, as a matter of fact. He came out and announced it. Let me see if there's anyone else. Stroud, Mayfield, Stafford. No, I don't believe. We went through both Mannings, Breeze, Brady, Roethlisberger. So this is how hard it is to win a ring in this league. We're talking about 3 who start, and there are 32 quarterbacks. And you want Trevor Lawrence. We forgot Aaron Rodgers is the guy that we forgot. Okay, but certainly Rodgers. I mean, what does he have? 1 or 2 years left.
Also didn't play last year.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers would be the 4th. So, just how hard it is. Are we going to go through our life and find out that Josh Allen never wins the Super Bowl? Okay? Buffalo's never won it. Lamar Jackson. The guy's been absolutely sensational. And Baltimore's been able to match that with really good defense hasn't won it. Joe Burrow. There always seems to be like a major issue in Cincinnati. And right now you have unhappy, disgruntled, very talented wide receivers. Herbert? I mean, is there anyone alive who really thinks that Herbert is going to win a Super Bowl? And then all of a sudden, you turn around, you take Trevor Lawrence, and you throw him into that category. But, it's scary that the 5 quarterbacks mentioned are all in the AFC, not one from the NFC.
You're really down on Herbert, huh? You don't think anyone in America thinks Herbert will ever win a Super Bowl?
I think I'm not down on him, more down on the organization.
Okay. I think Herbert's great. I think he's got a cannon arm. He got really screwed with injuries lately. But, yeah, I get he hasn't won anything, but there's a reason why Brady has him up there.
No, there's no doubt. And there's only a few quarterbacks that I would take over Trevor Lawrence. Herbert is one. I like him. Right. I just don't think that organization is,
Getting Harbaugh to me was a good move.
Yeah.
But
we'll see. We'll see. He's been to a Super Bowl before. He took on his brother.
What's his name before was terrible. I cannot think.
Oh, the guy that had
the head coach.
27-0 lead here. I can't even remember his name. Of the Los Angeles Chargers. I don't know. Maybe you can Google that and let us know. But, how do you lose a 27-0 lead here?
Staley.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Brandon Staley. So he is now out. Bo Nix announced today, starter in Denver. First starter as a rookie since John Elway, 1983. Jaden Daniels was announced over the weekend in D.C. As the starter. And I did watch last night the documentary on Steve McNair. That was okay. They try to make it I don't want to spoil it for you.
Is it one-parter? Like I could watch it in one night? Okay.
Yeah, it's 58 minutes long.
Oh.
And they go back and forth on his playing and then the murder-suicide. And again, I don't want to tell too much about it. I don't want to spoil it. But the main star is Jeff Fisher, who's always been a controversial guy in this city. And yeah, they try to make it somewhat controversial and end up blaming the Nashville police for doing a very poor job as far as forensics and their investigation.
Well, wasn't it pretty much open and shut on what happened?
Not according to this documentary.
Wow.
Now, again, have you ever seen the documentary of Making of a Murder?
Yeah, and they make it seem like the guy is like totally, didn't do anything, had nothing to do with it. When if you actually go by the facts of the case, it was clear that he murdered that woman.
Listen, when I watched Making of a Murder, I was convinced that dude walked on water. Exactly. Okay?
Get him, free this man!
I was ready to drive to Wisconsin to picket in front of that prison to get him out.
And so were tens of thousands of other Americans. Yeah. That's the problem with quote-unquote documentaries.
As I said, we get it in news. We do. We get it between Fox and MSNBC. We get it in sports in some cases with ESPN. But you would think with something like a murder investigation, you wouldn't be able to go down two different streets. But I've said it to you many times. Read James Patterson's book on Aaron Hernandez, and then read
Baez.
The lawyer. And Baez, the same one who represented Casey Anthony. Read his book. And you're reading two totally different books.
Separate universes.
It's just amazing. So I don't want to say much more about it because I don't want to spoil it. It's worth watching. It's on for an hour. But anyway.
Did they interview his wife?
No.
Okay.
No. They did not.
I could see why she probably wouldn't want to be involved in that.
They interview Fisher. They interview who was the guy on the offensive line? Was it Brad Hopkins on the offensive line? And
Brent Hopkins, I believe. Oh, Brent Hopkins works here.
Yeah, he works here. who, by the way, I think if you got,
nothing to do with this murder.
I think if you got Hopkins in the gym, he could be an offensive. He's the skill. He's the skill position guy.
Absolutely.
And they had a guy who played with him at Alcorn State, and kind of took over his business ventures, and he was interviewed. But and the other guy who's interviewed is the girlfriend of the murderer who had the murder-suicide. Apparently, they were here in Orange Park, and they moved to Nashville. And he grew up loving Steve McNair. He was by far his favorite football player, Steve McNair. And she broke up with him to start dating Steve McNair.
Interesting.
So, of course, he was a suspect.
Right.
Yeah. It's worth watching. It is. One college note, Dylan Raiola has been announced as a starting quarterback, the highly decorated guy who Herbie gave the vote of confidence to. When Daddy picked up the phone and Dr. Herbie said, by all means, go to Nebraska. What a great place. History, tradition, black shirts, national championships. Dr. Herbie was able to pull that one off.
I love making fun of Nebraska, but with Matt Rule there and a good quarterback, I mean, they could turn things around. In the NIL era with all those fans clamoring for anything, they haven't had anything to cheer about in 30 years, it's a special place in college football that they're going to pack the house. They're going to always have fan base. And Matt Rule is a great coach. I know he sucked in the NFL, but I mean, what he did at, Temple and Baylor is magnificent. So if he can even do a little bit of that for Nebraska, I wouldn't be shocked at all.
The 90s, for the most part, you had Miami, Nebraska, and Florida State winning national championships. Florida State won it in 2013. Who's next out of Miami and Nebraska to come back and win a national
Miami. I would say they're closer right now. That's why I'd say that. And just it's easier to recruit, even in the NIL era where you can be basically anywhere in America and just pay to get kids to come. Miami's still the hotbed of recruiting in America. So even the C-level guys out of these high schools in Miami are better than A++ level guy from Nebraska.
All the attention goes to the SEC with Texas and Oklahoma, yet you look at the Big Ten adding Oregon, and USC's going to – it's only a matter of time before they wake up again.
Right.
And they got a heck of a coach who's really disappointed. I know he's really on the firing squad, and there's some belief he doesn't want to be in that conference. And I think anything, including him being out after this year, is in play. But they're still going to get themselves a great coach. You see that Pete Carroll announced today he's going back to USC to teach a class?
I saw that. What class? Like a leadership, maybe? Remember Urban Meyer, one of the greatest college professors of all time, taught leadership class.
No, Pete's going to go in the USC. He's going to teach calculus.
Yeah. Physics.
Yeah. All right. Let's save Ventrell Miller for our final thoughts. And I want to remind you that tomorrow, JJ and I with Hayes Carline, we're on from 2 to 4 during Thursday's show. You'll have Jaguars programming from 4 until 6, and then Hacker Nation at 6 o'clock. So changing things up a little bit on Thursday. We're not going to have a show on Friday because of everything that is with Jaguars pregame, in-game, and post-game. And then, of course, next week, even though it's a bye week for the Jaguars, it does become really officially this time the normal week. Today and this week was somewhat that, but we still had media accessibility Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. That's going to change now from here on out outside of watching them stretch for 15 minutes or so very early in practice, and we'll also get media accessibility in the locker room after practice. So that is going to get us into the regular season beginning next week. All right, we know that Jaguars play on Friday night, so they're going to have 16 days to get healthy before their first game in Miami. Tyreek Hill, his availability is a huge one. And certainly for the Jaguars, you just hope that they play effectively on Friday night and that they get out of there health-wise without any issues, because you don't want to have to put some guys on the IR when you set your 53-man roster, which comes up by 4 o'clock on Tuesday. Coming up on the other side, caught up with Ventrell Miller after today's practice inside the Miller Electric Center. We'll play that for you.
1010XL means.
Your signal, that means.
Yeah, that's what that means.
It's so cool.
Jacksonville Sports Radio. It's 1010XL.
Ballou for Shinatri Chiropractic. They've helped me get rid of my headaches and pain in my neck and back. Are you suffering from an auto accident? What about TMJ pain? Headaches associated with jaw clenching, grinding of the teeth, or stress-related disorders? Shinatri Chiropractic has a physical therapist on staff for rehabilitation, quality chiropractic care, dry needling, massage, and acupuncture. Call 743-6700 or go to ShinatriDC.com.
Roof damage? Call before you claim. Green Law Group, fighting insurance companies for you. They will work for you when you have roof damage. Don't let your insurance deny you. Don't call an adjuster. Call Green Law Group at 904-302-7055. Remember, if you have roof damage, call Green Law Group before you claim. They've settled millions and will work hard to get your claim and new roof. Green Law Group. Call before you claim. 904-302-7055.
Don't make a bad call when it comes to servicing your home. Cooling off with a baby pool in the house to fix your air conditioning problem is a bad call. Trying to catch a wave in a flooded bathroom is a bad call. Using a burning electrical panel to make s'mores is a bad call. The next time something goes wrong, make a good call to Donovan.
Whether you need air, electric, or plumbing service, Donovan is always a good call. It's why we've been trusted by our customers for almost 40 years and why you can trust us to deliver fast, reliable service to your home. Donovan, always a good call.
Visit DonovanAC.com today.
Hey folks, Mike Dempsey here. You've heard me talking about Pella Windows and Doors, and with great ratings and expert reviews, you know they're high quality and energy efficient products. So what's your next step? How about scheduling a free consultation or just stop by the Pella showroom right there on Phillips Highway next to Tesla. Pella's professional consultants will guide you through your entire project from start to finish. From simple projects to complex renovations, their team has the experience needed to make your project a success. And that's the quality and service you can expect from Pella Windows and Doors.
When they were little, the other girls played with dolls.
Aww.
They played with footballs.
Who's them? Yes, it's us.
Helmets and heels.
From the First Coast Lighting Studios at 1010XL.
Weekdays noon to 2.
Some girls have all the fun.
Hey, sports fans, this is Hayes Carline from MyBookie. Oh, Gators, Canes, Georgia, Clemson, LSU, USC, Florida State, Georgia Tech, and of course, Jaguars, Dolphins. It is here, and are you ready for the ultimate football season? Using MyBookie Sportsbook and Casino platform, you can bet on every game and win anytime, anywhere, straight from your mobile device. No app needed. Just click my link, sign up, and you're ready to rock. When you bet with MyBookie, you're not just watching the games, you're investing in every moment of action. I'll say it from experience, a few bucks on the line can turn any regular game into one of the most exciting of the season because you don't have to bet very much. Don't forget to use promo code 1010XL when signing up to claim a $1,000 bonus on your first deposit. Again, promo code 1010XL. Get that bonus. Don't let that pass you by. Bet anything, anywhere, anytime, only with MyBookie. And don't forget that promo code 1010XL.
When you take a sip of Bold City Brewery's mini flavors, you're taking a sip of this Bold City. In Duval, since 2008, they've been cranking out craft beer for 16 plus years now. So head to their production house on Roselle Street in Riverside or Bold City downtown and sample a Duke's, their legendary brown ale. 2 great IPAs, plus Duval Light, Killer Whale, and plenty more. It's all on tap at Bold City Brewery, downtown or in Riverside. Log on and taste the craft. BoldCityBrewery.com.
Mortgage rates have plummeted, and Loan Pronto clients are locking in the lowest rates we've seen in years. Hey, it's Roger Moore, founder and CEO of Loan Pronto. It's happening. We are finally locking APRs in the 5s, something we haven't seen for a long time. If that sky-high rate is killing you or you need to get cash out of your home equity, now is the time to take action. Or listen, even if you want to keep that first mortgage rate intact, you can take advantage of lower rates with our Equity Express line of credit. We're seeing homeowners take 50, 75, 200 grand or more out of their equity and wiping out that high-interest debt with an average savings of $850 per month. Bottom line, your home value is way up and mortgage rates have come way down, making this a great time to act. Call today for a 30-second rate quote. Do it now, and you can even skip your next 2 mortgage payments. 904-999-1508. 904-999-1508. LoanPronto.com. 904-999-1508.
Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. NMLS consumeraccess.org.
Thinning or balding hair? Introducing Scalp Micropigmentation now at IHRS. SMP is a procedure for men and women, looks like your own growing hair, and corrects thinning areas. SMP is perfect for men and women who shave their head and want a full head of hair look. Call IHRS now, 904-777-IHRS, 904-777-4477, or visit hairforme.com today.
Fall is the perfect excuse to update my wardrobe. So I went to Kohl's and fell in love with dressing up all over again. And all for less. With their friends and family sale, I saved 20% on polished pieces for me and my husband. Like dresses, button-downs, and shoes. Plus, I earn Kohl's cash. Don't take my word for it. Get to Kohl's and discover fall faves for yourself. Select styles. Offers end August 25th. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars fly to Atlanta tomorrow. They'll get ready for their matchup against the Falcons coming up on Friday night. Of course, we'll have all that in-game, pre-game, post-game. Keep it right here. 1010 on the AM, 92.5 on the FM. Today inside the Miller Electric Center after practice number 20. Caught up with linebacker Ventrell Miller. Wednesday practice complete here at the Miller Electric Center with linebacker Ventrell Miller. Another good day for you guys.
All right, another good day. Just stacking these days, getting ready for this game coming up.
How hard is it to practice with this thing? I mean, it's a pretty attractive-looking club. How is it?
I wouldn't say it's hard at all. I'm more so looking out for my teammates, not trying to punch out them when it's not padded up right now. But it's all good. I feel like it keeps me, like, keep my feet moving, if you get what I'm saying. Yeah, okay. Striking, just playing through it. I feel like it prepares me for the game. Want them to see how it's going to feel. You've been moving around a little bit. Now that you've had an entire training camp to understand what Ryan Nielsen is trying to do, and your thoughts on this defense? Mm-hmm. I like the defense. Just mastering the scheme, all the adjustments. That's been been an everyday thing. But like I said, just mastering it, trying to figure out everything that I need to know for all the adjustments and stuff like that. But I enjoy the defense.
What's it been like? You know, last year at this time you went down and you had to spend a year on the IR, but now knowing that your name is going to be called and obviously trying to stay healthy, what's it all been like this journey the past year plus?
Just a grind. Just been grinding through it all. Keep trying to keep my head up high, attack everything that I got, whether that was rehab or coming out OTAs, account. So just trying to attack it, keeping that all in the back of my mind, really not thinking about it. Yeah. Trusting the process that I put in to work.
Just how different overall it is, you know, the linebacker play with the changes that have been made in front of you and also where you're a part of it.
Definitely. I feel like we got a lot of depth in that room. They line guys up differently. We could match guys. But just having a lot of depth in that room, that's always good. And like I said, everybody's really still trying to master the scheme. Keep learning, continue to grow and all that, I'll say.
Last one for you. Veteran leadership. You bring in guys who played in Super Bowls, Deshaun Gibson, you know, Savage, Eric Armstead just played in one. Ronald Darby's got a lot of experience. Yeah. What does that bring to this football team?
I definitely say a lot of knowledge. Guys that know how to get to those big games, what to expect in those big games. So they know it. They can give that knowledge off to us younger guys and how to expect to practice and things like that. So that's always a good thing with the knowledge those boys bring into the team.
Appreciate a few minutes of your time.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you, Rick.
Very encouraged by their backup linebacker play. And Ventrell Miller is a football player. You just hope he can stay healthy. I think the five are set with Devin Lloyd and Foye Oluokun. It's been a very good camp for third-year linebacker Chad Muma, who's expected to start in their base. Be interesting to see what they go to two linebackers. And Yasir Abdullah, a guy that has had a very good camp. I think he is the fifth linebacker when it's all said and done.
Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
Well, today for the Jaguars, it was announced again that the starters are going to give it a go, even though Atlanta is not going to play their starters. They're not going to play their backup quarterback either, in first-rounder Michael Penix. That came out of the ATL a little bit earlier today. Let's start with the bad and get to the good. The bad, Christian Kirk still working on his calf situation. It's mild, but he's not going to go Friday. Foye Oluokun with a hamstring. I would imagine he's not going to go. Christian Braswell didn't work today because of an oblique. I would imagine he's not going to go. Brian Thomas had a couple of drops today, but this is not like the drop that he had in the first couple of practices, right? He had them on consecutive days. Is fatigue set in a little bit? Maybe. You can see him evolving. You can see him developing. It's gotten better day after day after day. Parker Washington actually had a drop today, which hasn't happened much in camp either. But, you know, I think the grind is set in. And I'm not worried about that like I was certainly during their first practice. Eric Armstead worked with the team today. Team activity in 11-on-11 and what have you. So that's encouraging. They've been non-committal all week. Ryan Nielsen yesterday and Doug Peterson on Monday about his availability Friday night. I wouldn't play him. I just wouldn't. I think he'll be fine and ready to go against Miami. Finally, Anton Harrison along with Trevor Lawrence. They met us after practice today, talked to them both. Anton Harrison says it's great to be healthy. Remember last year at this time, he had a bum shoulder, and he has improved. I mean, Anton Harrison went the last 9 games last year without allowing a sack, and he is a left tackle by trade who was thrown in at right tackle. He wasn't thrown in. He was a first-round draft pick. He played right tackle. He took on some beasts as a rookie, and he did a really good job. He is a dominant pass blocker, okay, who's only going to get better. I do believe that there is room for improvement with him as a run blocker, but we saw him, you know, just pancake a couple of guys last Saturday night against Tampa Bay. So he's going to be here for quite some time, and he is right now, in my opinion, and it's not even close, their best offensive lineman. And we'll see them all together. Press Taylor, as we wrap with this, you know, Press Taylor today, you know, this morning when he met with the media, did come out and talk about how there's been criticism with the offensive line, but the five haven't worked together, right? They missed 3 on opening day or 2 on opening day, and they missed 3 the other night, right? They missed 2 against KC, and they missed 3 against Tampa. So that's fair. I hope it makes a difference for you out there listening, you Jaguar fans. I certainly would not bet on that, but Press Taylor made that comment a little bit earlier this morning when he met the media.
Now, the 2-minute drill brought to you by Injury Care Centers. Discover BioTarget Regenerative Therapy, a safer drug-free solution for lasting pain relief. Visit GoBioTarget.com.
Buyer or seller on the 5 together, and things will work out okay.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to work out okay, but I made that point on Monday because I had so many people on my social media timeline just flipping out about the offensive line, and I said, look, the 5 haven't played together for whatever that's worth. Now, I don't know if it's worth very much, but I did feel it was important to point that out because that was the message the Jaguars gave us, Rick, in the entirety of last season, is Cam Robinson suspension, and then the left guard was a rotating door, and then you had injuries with Brandon Sheriff at right guard, and they just never had a cohesive 5 after the Cleveland trade except for Week 18 against Tennessee. That's still the line we've been given. It's true because they have 5 haven't been out there together. But I don't know if Friday night's going to be a good gauge because what I've gathered is Atlanta's playing nothing but 3rd and 4th teamers anyway.
And I hate it. And I think we got into that last night, or it might have been on Monday night. But the formula is not set for 3 preseason games the way it was with 4. It'd be interesting because I think in a couple of years we're going to go 18-2. But it'd be great if Atlanta had their starters going. You can get a real good feel for what's going on. You're not going to get that now.
No, you're not going to get it. And Raheem Morris, the new Falcons coach, I mean, that's what are you doing not playing Michael Penix?
I know.
I mean, that's insane.
You're not playing your top 2 quarterbacks.
He didn't play in the second preseason. They said they saw enough of him in preseason game number 1. What are you talking about? It's your rookie quarterback that probably is never going to play in the regular season. If Kirk Cousins is the guy you believe he is, why are you not playing him in the preseason? That is wild to me.
Coaches have always done things that don't make sense. And we're always the experts. The fans are always the experts. But this one, I could not agree with you more. Why would you not give this guy another opportunity to show what he is all about? You almost wonder if it's because if he does things so well, you've invested, $100 million in Kirk Cousins? I don't know.
No, that's a good point. You know, what if he goes out there and throws a couple of touchdowns and those Atlanta fans are very vocal and you know how they are. They could be get Cousins out of there, put the kid in. Maybe they avoid some of that by not playing him. It's weird.
All right, what's coming up?
Yeah, our final, this was our final open practice, or the entirety open practice to the media. 20 training camp practices have been open to us, and my last interview, at least for training camp, is with Andrew Parker, the undrafted free agent out of App State. If there is an undrafted free agent to make the 53, the thought all along was Joshua Cephas. I no longer believe that. I don't believe an undrafted free agent is going to make the 53, but I think Andrew Parker might be the leader in the clubhouse if one does make the 53.
Yeah, Proctor made a little noise early. I actually have one undrafted free agent on my 53.
Which is?
Jalen Jackson.
Oh, you have the running back making it. Okay.
I think they're going to IR Keelan Robinson.
All right.
And I wouldn't bet on it, because I think they probably feel you can cut them and they can talk to them and bury them and put them on the practice squad. I mean, someone's going to go out and grab an undrafted free agent and say, let's put him on our 53-man roster. Probably not, but I like him. I think he's had a good camp.
I like Jalen Jackson. I like Andrew Parker, too, and I'm going to ask Parker, does he feel that he's earned a spot on the 53 at absolute minimum? Does he feel he's earned a spot on the practice squad? That conversation coming up. Also, Justin Barney of Channel 4 and Zach Goodall of Jaguars Wire all set to join me this evening.
All right, Hacker. Have a lot of fun. That's coming up right now.
Thanks, Rick.
Schedule change for tomorrow. Myself, JJ will be on from 2 to 4 tomorrow with Hayes Carline. Hacker will be on right now from 6 until 8 on Thursday. So a little bit of a change there. Again, we'll be with you tomorrow from 2 until 4 o'clock. Thank you to Ventrell Miller. Thank you to John Osher. JJ LaSelva is the producer of the program. My name is Rick Ballou for a third time. Talk with you tomorrow from 2 until 4 right here on your home of the Jags.
like Knights of the Round Table talking sports.